Um, the way I believe that we did that was through ether channels, and by
Okay.
setting those ether channels
Hold on.
between.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Patrick, what's up?
I'm good. What's up?
Hey man, so tell me about ether channels.
Ether channels. So from what I know, based on the limited time I spent on it, was ether channels are a way to like connect. It's not I want to say it's a redundancy, but you can connect like two physical ports, essentially make them one port.
What does that mean for spanning tree?
For spanning tree, that means
No worries,
they're
I'll
not,
come back to you.
not blocking it. Damn, it's
not blocking it?
Because they're like they're.
Heard you. Is that...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What was that, David?
No, go ahead. You were talking. I interrupted you. Sorry.
So yeah, from what I believe, I haven't really spent too much time on it. But I know it's the port channels from what I believe. They when it's related to spanning tree, I would say that they would they pass traffic.
Okay, so let's
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So let's work through this. No, it's all good. Let's work through this, okay? So you being the engineer, right? Because of course, whenever we implement something, right, we have to explain the reason why. So you being the engineer, right? Know about ether channels, right? And let's go with your statement that you said earlier, right? Let's keep it simple. We're combining two individual physical links and making them into one.
Right.
That's what you said, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, and my question after that was, what does that mean for spanning tree, right? So, yeah. Patrick, tell me what is spanning tree job?
To stop. To stop to prevent loops.
How?
By blocking certain ports, so there's no multiple ways to, I guess, get there. So to avoid the redundancy, you have to stop one of those links, so it was not gonna end up being an everlasting loop.
My man, perfect. Jose Ortega, what's up, man? Jose, what's up, man? You there? He done went quiet on me. All right, Joe, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, so I know you guys left off last time. So tell me where you guys at now. I know when I left, you guys were configuring a DHCP server. You had your network engineers configuring ether channels. So you were covering layer 2. So what were you covering at layer 3 on the core switch 2?
So we had set up DHCP.
Okay.
And I believe we had set up one of the port channels. And I know that we got core switch 1 and 2 connected also.
Step in real quick. One more thing real quick. So we configured also that left side. So what we weren't able to do was the right side. So that left side being completely configured, we were actually doing the exact same thing on the left that we did on the left side to the right side. So we're almost configured completely. It's just that right side that we have to do like I said, mimic one side to the other. So
Okay. So there's a couple of changes that I got from the customer. Okay. So you guys are going to have to create a plan for this. Okay. So
okay.
the customer stated that it's going to have to rip out some of its fiber links between the two buildings, meaning this is going to happen. Okay. And campus 1, which is this, will have to communicate to another switch that is roughly 2 cities away.
So we're looking more so
you're
like
have to go through. Say it again.
So we're looking at changing the specific device that it's connecting to. And if I'm thinking properly, this is floating back to what we did before. It was a topology, I believe, that we had to where depending on how close the buildings are, you can connect them like them being in the same area. But with these being 2 cities apart, there's another type of device that you use, which if I'm not, I want to say it's not a is it a multi-layer switch? Or being able to connect different locations to essentially 2 different areas. So that's what I was thinking
right?
back. But
no, and that's a good theory. So what's going to happen now, right, is I'm going to take one of your team members, Joe, and she's going to be the ISP, because you guys are going to have to go through the ISP to communicate between 2 sites. So now we're jumping from layer 2 to layer 3. Okay. So Joe's going to work on your service provider side. Okay. And she's going to make sure traffic gets from point A to point B. Okay.
Right.
So Joe, right?
Yep.
So Joe, what do we need, right, to go ahead and have both sites communicate with each other, right, at their site before they can communicate with the ISP?
Communicating together. I mean, before you threw in the ISP, I was thinking like we could connect them via like a serial link since they were further apart.
What? Well, never mind.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask would VPN work? Because I'm thinking more so along the lines of now that I work from home and I'm not connecting directly to the site that's nearest me, and it has to go through an internet service provider in order for it to get to the other side. So like a site-to-site VPN kind of?
It'll be remote access VPN, yes. But yeah, we're going through IPsec tunnel. That's one option, right? So Hakeem.
I'm here.
With you being one of the engineers that's under Brian, right? Brian's on vacation and you're working on site, right? You're going to be working with Joe with configuring this, and you need to make sure that traffic is flowing from one site to the other, and it's going to be on the same subnet. Is that possible?
That traffic is flowing from one site to the other via the ISP and one on the same subnet. Yeah, that's possible.
Yep. Really? How?
Well, if you're gonna be running like OSPF or if you're going to be running IP protocols from one site to the other and redistributing routes and things of that nature, I think they could be on the same subnet.
Okay, perfect. So that's your final answer, right?
Yes.
Wait. I have a question.
Okay. Well, before you do that, let me just tell Joe something. Hey, Joe, before we deploy these devices, If you can in the background, I want you to look up Q and Q.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna deploy that in a second. Brian, what's your question?
So when it comes to, I'm thinking like intranets, right? Basically, so one of the types of there's different types of VPNs that I'm thinking about, because I know the one that I use is remote access VPN, right? Then also, depending on the network, you can use intranet. But I mean, of course, it's going to go through the internet service provider, but you can go directly into the intranet through certain, like through VPN, as long as you have an internet connection as well, which would then possibly allow you to have somewhat the same net, if subnet. If I'm thinking about it properly, I'm trying to make the connection between the two, because I know VPNs, like I said, remote access VPN is one of them, and I know intranet, which also could be site to site as well. I remember reading that recently somewhere, and there's one other one, but I can't think of what that one is. I think it may be the opposite of intranet, maybe extranet or something like that. But I was thinking about that, basing it off the other possible way based off the question you just asked.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
At that, I wanted to say too, and then if you had like a DHCP server on one site, can you get addresses in the same subnet anyway? Pull that from the local area network.
You can. But let's think about this, right? With you being the engineer. So with you being the engineer, right? So we have Bill at this site right here, right? That's at PC3, okay? And we have Stacy at this site in PC4. So same subnet, right? That's what you're saying. So let's say for some odd reason, right? They both, they have IP addresses, right? And they're trying to reach a resource. But what happens when traffic isn't passed properly and the routers in the middle don't know doesn't know where to send it to?
It drops.
Why? What are we not doing? What do we have to make sure that we do so that traffic is passed properly?
It's establishing a route. I guess. Well, if I'm thinking about spanner tree, best route, but
well, if it's going through the ISP, then it's what, layer 3. It's going to be. You're not talking about NAT, are you?
Nope, not talking about that.
Is it encrypting or making sure that like I guess the traffic knows where it's going, or it has a specific route or path, so if it goes through the internet, it knows where it's going? Or I mean, I'm trying to make that make sense. Like, how is it supposed, if it doesn't, so it doesn't drop?
I mean, I heard you mention that, like, kind of like a lot of traffic going on, and that basically, like, you couldn't handle like so much traffic going on. Would it be quality of service that you're talking about? Or,
Not exactly.
Okay.
A secure connection.
Could it be a customer edge router and via VRF from the ISP?
Not exactly.
Or a VXLAN?
Too deep, guys. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Okay? And this is a CCNA topic. You guys see this, so I'm going to explain it. Okay? 1 second. There's one thing we need to make sure that we configure so that Hakeem, right, being the engineer on site that's taking care of this deployment, right? Let's say we have this 10.10.x network, right, for our company, right? We have different subnets, as you guys see, right? And so it's going through the ISP, right? Let's say, cool, it knows, there's no natting happening and we're just passing it, right? We're old school, right? And so, what if for router 6 this happens? So that right here, right? You go ahead and get my handy dandy notepad. Do this. So this, right, is in R6 routing table. So Hakeem, back to your statement. Let's say we keep it at a /8. Let's say a packet comes from PC3, right? And PC3 and PC4 is on the same subnet. It, PC3 sends it to its gateway and it sends it to R5, R5 sends it to R6. If we have a /8, right, and we don't summarize our routes, what's going to happen? I ain't said it earlier.
It's not going to know where to go.
Has no way to communicate.
It's gonna drop it.
Okay, so Hakeem, keep going with it doesn't have nowhere to go. What do you mean by that?
The routing table is off.
Keep going.
So
I'm
it's not.
going to give you a hint. Summarize. Summarize.
Okay. I think.
So I'm the router, right? So I have, and routers separate broadcast domains. Remember that, okay? So I'm summarizing a 10.10.x.y/8, okay? So I receive traffic from building 1 that's connected to R5, right? That has to be sent to PC4, which is on the same subnet, has PC3 behind R5. I'm the routing table, and I just have that, and I summarized a 10.10. Such and such. How am I going to know where to go to? Because I have this. From the router standpoint, we'll go either this way or this way to hit a 10.10. I don't know where to go, Hakeem. I haven't summarized the routes.
Is this Spanish?
What am I going to do?
I mean, you
Fabiana?
can. I'm sorry.
You gotta find out what the Lord's Mac.
Fabiana, what do you think I should do?
What was the question again?
So here's the situation, right? We're going to connect both sites because both sites, they're now farther apart from each other, right? We're going to use the ISP. Oh, somebody's connecting. Okay. We're going to use an ISP, right? But we're not doing any natting, okay? Just old school shooting traffic through the ISP, right?
Okay.
So we're not, we're summarizing these routes, right? And so Hakeem said, hey, yeah, we can go ahead and just pass the traffic between both sites. Easy, same subnet and all. So if they're on the same subnet and router 6 in its table, it has a 10.10./8, what's going to happen to my traffic if it comes from either PC3 or PC4? How is R6 going to know where to go?
Is there some sort of routing that needs to take place, or?
Yep. Keep rolling. Should I be summarizing routes? And Joe, you can help out.
Okay.
Should I be summarizing routes? Is that smart to do?
Probably not if everything is on the same subnet.
Why?
I'm thinking, I'm not sure if I'm going the right direction, but I know like whenever you're looking for where to go, you're looking for the longest match route in the table.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. It's like I think I can see it, but I don't know how to put it into words.
Hey, however you think about it in your mind, just blurt it out. It's perfectly
Okay.
fine.
Because I'm thinking like if you summarize it, then it's like it's almost like it's only going in one direction versus
Right.
if you have each individual like subnet. I'm not sure if I'm using that like correctly here, but then you kind of know exactly what the next hop is, or you know, the administrative distance or something as to what direction it needs to go in. But if it's all pooled together, then it's just kind of, you know.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So Hakeem, Fabiana, and Joe, you guys are absolutely correct. If we summarize at the ISP level, and we're on the same subnet at both sites, and we're not natting, bro, R6 doesn't know where to go. It says I can either go that way or that way. So I'm gonna shoot the packets out both ways. Shoot the packet out both ways. So then R5 is going to receive it and it's going to send it back to PC3. Oh, we just got it back from Joe's router and we sent it back to you, PC3. So it's failing, right? So what can we do, right? Let's say that he did, right? Hakeem did want to go ahead and keep that same plan. We can go ahead and put in a command, no auto summary, to make sure that, hey, you know, we can go ahead and specify certain subnets, and with Joe's plan as well, go ahead and summarize it from here. Or we can do the technology that Joe just found out, that Joe just researched, which is Q and Q, right? And so guys, typically what Q and Q does, right? So it's a layer 2 VPN. What does that mean, right? So typically, right, we can go ahead and make sure that we can pass traffic, even though this is still layer 3, we can pass it as if it's on the same site. We're just passing it via layer 2. Does that make sense? It makes sense? But I want you guys to understand this for now. Because again, this is going to be a short session because now we're jumping into routing. So Joe has that article. I'm gonna share article 2. This was meant to be a short session because again, now we're gonna jump into routing and all that other stuff. Okay. So guys, excellent job. I wanted to get you guys' minds to start thinking before we start implementing this. And next session that we have, we're gonna go ahead and go deep into configuration. Okay. Everybody that showed up today, I'm gonna go ahead and send you guys a lab because I need you guys to be prepared for this, okay?
All right.
All right. So,
absolutely. Thank you.
Just again, no problem. No problem. Great job, guys. Just be, I'll go ahead and send this lab shortly. Joe, I owe you 2 labs actually. So you'll get that shortly. But again,
right.
these will be labs regarding routing, okay?
Okay, cool.
All right, folks. Well, great job. I will see you guys next week.
All right. Thanks again,
Yeah,
Dave.
thanks, David.
Thank you, David. Good night.
Later, folks.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.